Derek Chauvin was perfectly justified and should have killed George Floyd. No one has said that. Everyone that's getting upset and pretending like that one issue is why everyone's upset is smoking something. Because everyone agreed that that issue was wrong. So let's talk about Black Lives Matter. This is the time for black voices to be heard, and the only way our voices can be heard is if we riot. Maybe you've been told this is not the time to bring up black-on-black crime statistics, or this is not the time to talk about the odds of a black person getting killed by the police. So if your concern is for black lives, then your concern will be for the issue that is killing the most black people. And statistically speaking, the issue that is killing the most black people is black people. 94% of black people that are killed by black people. You said, but wait. Let's talk about police brutality. Okay, we can talk about police brutality and the fact that 91% of people shot and killed by the police, regardless of their skin color, are, guess what? Armed. So if we are going to call this an issue, we cannot say someone shooting at the police getting killed is just as bad as someone who's unarmed getting shot by the police. That's not the same thing. And they go, oh, well, look at this video, this mass shooter, he was white, and the police walked him out. It's all about their encounter with the police. If they shoot at the police, they're killed. If they surrender, they're not. Why? Because we have a justice system in America, and the justice system says you are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And it is not the job of the police to be judge, jury, and executioner. The organization Black Lives Matter cares nothing for black lives. Because if they did, they would address black-on-black crime. And this is not a whataboutism. That's an issue that's killing black lives. And if your concern is black lives, then you're just as concerned with black-on-black crime as you are from police violence. Take a look at this graph. Yep. That shows that you have a 0.77% chance of getting killed by the police for every 1 million people that's not just arrested, but arrested for a violent crime. The criminals that the police arrest, there's not even a 1% chance. Let's back it up a bit. See, police profile. It's part of their job. They profile based on people that fit certain descriptions because, statistically speaking, those people pose the largest risk to them. What does that look like? Well, 55% of violent crime is committed by not people of color, not black females, black males. So statistically speaking, the most dangerous thing to a police officer in terms of people in America is a black male. Why is that? Well, crime follows poverty. Crime also follows fatherlessness. Fatherlessness is a monumentally greater issue to the black community than police brutality. The numbers speak for themselves. And unfortunately, right now, we're having emotional reactions to a few isolated incidents that have caused people to literally lose their minds. If you say that this is a whataboutism and statistics don't matter, then you don't care about black people. Now notice my shirt says Black Lives Matter. It also says in very fine print, even in the womb. The 675,000 black lives that are destroyed by Planned Parenthood is a legitimate issue that is actually plaguing the black community that nobody's talking about. And if Black Lives Matter is concerned about black lives, they're concerned about all black lives. Why isn't Black Lives Matter in support of black people becoming police officers? Because if the issue is that the police officers are all white and racist, then the answer is just replace them all with black officers, right? Criminals are more likely to get shot by the police. That is why criminals who commit 55% of the violent crime are shot and killed by the police. Now, I'm not saying all black people are criminals. That's a sweeping generalization. That's the same sweeping generalization as saying all white people are racist. A high percentage of African Americans commit violent crimes, thus posing a threat to the police, thus putting themselves in a position to experience police brutality. Rioting is not doing anything because then you're putting yourself in direct contact with police that are already aggravated, already overworked, already understaffed, and now you're forcing them to respond by throwing Molotov cocktails and bricks and smashing police cars and setting things on fire. It's like you're like, hey, police brutality is a really big issue. Hang on while I jump in the street and forcibly put myself in a position to be brutalized. What are the problems that are contributing to Black Lives Not Mattering? Rap music, for starters. They talk about killing the homies and shooting up the people of the wrong color. Yes, wearing the wrong color is a death sentence. And cooking up crack. And for little white kids, that music is just music that they bob their head to. But for little black kids, that music is a lifestyle. Why aren't we talking about it? We can all agree that when there's a moral issue, we can address it as a moral issue and not a race issue. The issue with Derek Chauvin was not that Derek Chauvin was a racist. The issue was that he was a murderer. He murdered George Floyd. That is the issue. The issue with police brutality is police brutality. If police are using excessive force, the issue is that they're using excessive force. Racially motivated police brutality is more or less a figment of your imagination. The numbers do not support it. Police are more likely to shoot a white person that they pull over than a black person. We have no business telling white people they need to believe Black Lives Matter until we ourselves recognize Black Lives Matter. 4 black police officers have been killed since these riots started. If you care about black lives and you care about racism not being in a police force, why would you want to eliminate black police officers or be silent at their deaths? I want to see you showing as much support on social media for the police officers that were killed in the line of duty that were people of color as you do for an innocent black man that was killed. And notice I say innocent black man, because innocent black men as a whole are not killed statistically by the police. That is not true. It just isn't happening. People saying, oh, I'm afraid to go out in my hoodie. I'm afraid to leave my house because some white officer is going to see me and shoot me. That is absurd. You say, well, if it happened to you, things would be different. I've been pulled over 14 times in a calendar year by the police, and I never had so much as a scratch put on my body. I treated the police with respect. The police treated me with respect in return, and I didn't escalate the situation. If you do not escalate the situation, you will not be killed 99.9% of the time. That 0.01% of the time, that's George Floyd. And we're focusing on that. We're not focusing on the hundreds of thousands, even millions of interactions with the police that don't result in a black person getting killed. But we could start with limiting our interactions with the police by not committing crimes. And this is not for black people, this is for black men, because the majority of these crimes are being committed by black men. Black dads matter. Black lives matter even in the womb. Black lives matter when the police officers are the black lives that are taken. Black lives matter when the black business owners commit suicide because you destroyed their livelihood in your protest. I'm Joel Patrick, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.